All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for attending Carolina Farm Stewardship Association's 36th Sustainable Agriculture Conference. You've joined the session Saving Our Collective Seed Sovereignty, which is presented by Josie Walker and LaShauna, Austria. My name is Katie Murray. I am CFSA's Donor Engagement Associate, and I'm going to be the host for this session, and I'll be managing the chat. I'd encourage all of you to introduce yourselves into the chat and definitely post your questions throughout the session. Our presenters are going to be taking questions as they go, so feel free to put those questions in the chat. Please respect our conference community agreements in the chat as well. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our lovely presenters.
Thanks so much. Hey, everybody. Glad you're here. I want to see some intros in the chat box, so y'all make sure you do that, so we'll know who's in the space with us. I think I'm just going to quickly start with a land acknowledgement, just to pay respect and homage and tribute to our Native American relatives, and to just think about acknowledging the land that you're situated on. I'm in Burlington, and I'm on the land of the Occaneechi Band of the Saponi Nation. So just want to put that in the space and welcome y'all to this session. I'm going to share my screen really quickly and introduce myself and pass it off to Josie after that. Let me get there, y'all. A little Zoom grace. Here we go. If you didn't know, you're in Saving Our Collective Seed Sovereignty. We won't call it a workshop. We're going to call it a conversation. That's what we're going to do. We're holding space for a conversation today. And so this is where you found yourself. And I'm LaShauna, again, situated in Burlington. I see a lot of familiar names in the space. So good to see y'all. Glad you're here. A lot of y'all know me. I own Kindred Seedlings farm in the Saxbahaw area of Alamance County. I'm also a consultant and do a lot of consulting work through Seeds of Change Consulting. I'm a team member with Community Food Strategies. So if you've heard of Community Food Strategies, you've probably seen me do some work with them, working with local food councils in all over North Carolina, and also here in my home community in Alamance County. So yeah, that's enough about me. I'm gonna pass the mic over to Josie to introduce herself as well.
Hello, my name is Josie Walker. And before I get started, I'm sorry if there's any delays in my mic or anything. So just be aware that might be an issue. So my name is Josie Walker. I live in Jones County, which is in the southeastern part of North Carolina. Currently, I'm a board member for North Carolina Community Garden Partners. I've been working in the agriculture, food access, and food sovereignty advocacy space for about 5 or 6 years. I've worked for the Center for Environmental Farming Systems, the Agrarian Trust, and a few other nonprofits that deal with those issues. And I'm an aspiring entrepreneur trying to start a spice business of my own. And I'm also a huge advocate for seed saving.
Nice. We're both advocates for seed saving, and we hope y'all are too, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to start with this first question, Josie, and talk about why I save seeds. I'll pass the mic to you, and then we can get this party started. Honestly, I started saving seeds because I attended a workshop that Josie was holding it was on a Saturday. I remember showing up because I knew she was going to be having this, doing this talk. I was like, oh, I'm going to go support Josie, and just really got inspired to start saving seeds and fumbling around with things and asking more questions. So I've been saving seeds for a few years now, and I'll tell you, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot on the journey. Mostly what I've learned around saving seeds is that you got to wait for it. it teaches you a lesson in waiting. And when I'm just ready to like rip things out of the ground and throw them in the compost and be done with all the weeds and all the things, I really just have to sit and wait. And it's a process, and it has been a growing and maturing process for me to learn how to wait and just sit and let it be until the plant goes to seed. And so recently, if you know me, you know I've grown a lot of okra. And so I have okra pods all over my house, drying out from this year's okra season. And so they're literally in every windowsill, hanging up on the mantle, everywhere in my house. I've brought in the big pods so that I can harvest the seeds from those. But I have last year's okra seeds. I have arugula seeds right now, some collard seeds that I saved from the beginning of this year. What else do I have? What I say, collards, okra, arugula, sunflower seeds as well. And so it's really been a beautiful journey, and I'm learning more and more every day. And so why do I save seeds? Because my friend Josie is so brilliant, and I went to her workshop and I was inspired to do it. So Josie, why do you save seeds?
Well, I want to say thank you for coming to the workshop. I didn't even know you were there, and I'm glad you got something out of it, which makes this even better for me. I save seeds because I've always been interested in plants. And the first time I actually grew a garden on my own, plants from my uncle, and something said, save the seeds. That way you don't have to buy any more tomatoes. About 2009. And I like the idea of being able to myself produce success that I've already had. And also, and it's just,
You're breaking up, love.
I go through all this, and okay, I'm sorry.
I can hear you now, though. Keep talking. Keep trying.
Okay. So, you see the plant go through all its stages. And like she said, it's a lesson in patience. Usually I just go and just to see what happens. So it's fun to be able to go out and collect seeds, see what they look like, see what the flowers look like, and to go through that whole process. And I just love sharing and seeing what I have, and creating plants that are specific to where I am. I think that's one of the greatest things.
Beautiful. I think we got most of it, Josie. You're breaking up a little bit, but I think we got most of it. And yeah, I think everything you said resonates with me too, hopefully with others on the call. We won't be doing this slideshow the whole time, so don't worry. We're going to get y'all talking here in just a second. But I want to share the question that we want to ask you as participants, and then also begin to get any questions just around seed saving in general, because we want to talk about a seed saving collective that we're launching today. So here we go. We want to know from y'all what prompted you to save seeds for the first time. So be thinking about that question. If you're saving seeds, what prompted you to save seeds the first time? And maybe even how's that going for you? And then any questions that y'all have around seed saving, we'll want to open it up and talk about that as well. And then we're going to introduce y'all to ways that we can be in community together around saving seeds with a seed saving collective, a way to build community, a way to share seeds with each other as well. So let me back up. First question, what prompted you to save seeds the first time? Anybody want to jump in and answer that?
Oh, I just answered it. I could put my video on, sorry. I just answered that in the chat. I gave 3 different reasons. So I said, I didn't want to have to keep buying seeds. It can really add up the cost. And it's fun to save seeds. I really enjoy it. I had a really good melon out of this variety that I grew. I was like, oh, I'm going to save the seeds for it. So that was one other reason. And I wanted to have control of my own seed supply.
Yes, beautiful. Absolutely. Once you get the hang of it, it's like, oh, why haven't I been saving seeds? I should be doing this. And because when a plant goes to seed, you get so many seeds. That will just lead us right into our next piece of this presentation around why aren't we sharing them with other people when we're able to get so many seeds? I had no idea I'd be able to harvest so many okra seeds just from one pod. Last year, I also did, I saved some loofah seeds, and one loofah, I tell you, it had to be 100 seeds in there. It's like, they just would not stop coming out. And so it's like, once you get the hang of it, you see how beautiful and brilliant it is. It's like, let's begin to share with others as well. So anybody else, just come off mute and tell us what about your seed saving.
I'd like to share.
Yeah.
For me, it started a couple of things, but it's the sharing aspect of saving seeds that really appealed to me. And from whether you're visiting someone that has a garden and they're clipping things that they can share seed pods from. And then also I hosted a few seed swaps, and to have people bring native plants or things that they've grown and it's naturalized to your environment is going to grow better than things you purchase from some of these seed stores. So it was just beautiful to be able to collect those seeds, package them up, and then share them with others.
Mm-hmm. We're going right where we're headed. Beautiful. Anybody else?
I started learning about seed saving from my son's family. Their father is a Hmong refugee, and so they just practice seed saving all the time. But primarily, it's products that you can't find everywhere. So that was my first exposure to really learning how to do it and the importance of culturally appropriate produce and foods.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Anybody else? One of the things I've been a part of seed, I think we just call it a seed circle, seed sharing circle, nothing formal. This is a few years ago, where we just show up with our seeds. What do you have, and how could give me some of those, or oh, this grew well last year, and that sparks conversation. I've been situated in the Satspaha area for a good amount of years now, and some of my friends in Satspaha will just text each other, hey, you got this, and that's how I actually got my first loofah seeds. I wasn't really interested in growing loofah, but a friend of mine was like, oh my gosh, you should totally grow these things, and you can eat them, and you can and for one, and it taught me a lot about loofah. I had no idea you could eat it. And my first one, I may go grab it in a second when Josie's talking. I'll go grab my my big loofah from last year that came from the seeds that my friend gave me, and it was my very first time ever growing them, and it was just really, really incredible. And again, the amount of seeds I got from that from the biggest one, over 100, I'm sure. And then I just started bagging those up so I could pass them along to other people who might want to grow them. And I grew them again this year. So I agree. It's just really, I believe seed saving and seed sharing is a really brilliant way to be in community and connected, thinking about like hyper local, and and it's good for backyard growers too. So you don't have to be a big a big time farmer with lots of land and all of that to participate in growing food, and also sharing seeds that we harvest as well. Josie, you're on mute.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, here we go. So not only saving seeds to be in community, but also to save seeds from past generations. And it was saying, you learn purpose because they save the seeds from the from the vegetables that they eat that you probably would otherwise not know about or have seen. But also, my grandparents, one set saved seed, the other ones didn't. And the ones that didn't, now I hear my aunts and uncles and my mother talk, or my father talk about things that they used to eat, and now would be a good time, I feel, to have those back again, just to have some variety, and to connect to what sustained these people so that I could be here now. And now we've been in pandemic for almost 2 years, really. And after a while, you get tired of eating the same stuff over and over again. And having, being able to share seeds with people, you can grow new things, you can try new things that somebody has told you, hey, this is good, or this will grow well, versus looking in a catalog and be like, oh, that seems interesting, I hope it works. So does anybody else have anything they want to share?
I see some good stuff in the chat. Stories behind seeds and being passed from generation to generation. I agree. I remember my great grandma had used to grow okra when I was a kid, and had okra seeds. Now I don't have any of those, unfortunately, but I will say that the story of why I grow so much okra is connected to my great grandmother and what I learned growing up. But I wanted to show y'all this big loofah. I should have told y'all to do a show. We could do a show and tell. But anyhow, this is a loofah I was talking about from last year. And this thing, I just kept on shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking. There may be a few left in there now, but I just kept kind of shaking it like that after it dried out. And just, so many seeds just rolling out of this. And I don't use it for anything. It's really on display because I was so tickled about this loofah that I said, I'm gonna put it on my mantle, and it'll be a conversation piece when folks come in my house and want to know, what is that, or why do you have that big old loofah up there on your mantle? Because this thing was so brilliant to me. I didn't know anything about loofah. Sweet girlfriend of mine gave me those seeds, and I honestly probably wouldn't have even thought about growing them, but the connection that I had with my friend is really why I even entertained the notion of growing the loofah in the first place. So it's really, Josie and I both really believe that there's just some real community building around seed saving circles and conversations about food, about seeds. Again, that generation to generation, how folks have been passing these seeds down, particularly in the Native American community too, because I have a few good friends over here. I know, right? Look how big that, girl. I was tickled. I harvested that thing, peeled that skin back. I was like, yes, look, she is gorgeous. Anyhow, I have a few Native American folks over here in Alamance County, where I live, Occaneechi Band and Saponi Nation, and building just relationship and friendship and kinship with folks, and was gifted with some native bean seeds, and was able to grow those. And it was really beautiful because this is really built out of trust, because my girlfriend, she was like, we don't give these seeds to everybody. You really need to grow them in a specific way and make sure they're not, crossing over with any other of your beans that you're growing, because we really want to keep this, keep this native way that we've been doing things. And so I was able to sit with her and learn from her. She came out to my home, and we put the seeds in a particular one of my garden beds all by themselves, and it's just a brilliant way to be in community and learn and grow and do. So you want me to share my screen again, Josie? You good?
Actually, I wanted to show some seeds that I had from I don't know if y'all can see it all that well, but it's from a red hibiscus, and I got them. They're of the okra family, but I got them from a friend who is from Jamaica, and they call it sorrel, and it's very important to them. My story is not quite as profound as yours, but it was, I mean, they're super easy to grow, but I also learned, I've learned about how to grow them, what you use them for, like red zinger tea, for example. That's like some of the red biscuits.
Turn off your camera. Turn off your camera, Josie.
You can okay. So yeah, and you can make jams and jellies and syrups, all kinds of stuff out of it. It's high vitamin C, which is just the wives' tale. They've actually done scientific studies to prove that all the things that people always it's called the Florida cranberry as well, because you use it in the same way you would use cranberries. But like LaShauna was saying, being able to sit down with somebody and learn why it's important to them, why it's, well, not why, but why it's important to them, and also like what all you can do with it, because otherwise I would have paid it any mind, and I've been on my own. So the fact that she shared these, and now I have thousands of them, and I look and I try to share them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. That's good stuff. I just got another seed out of that loofah.
We can go back now.
Okay, I'm gonna share my my screen again. Josie, you're breaking up a little bit, but we gon', you know what? Folks are giving us Zoom grace, and we're just gonna keep on kicking it. We're gonna see what we can do here. Give me a second, y'all, to get my screen back right. Oh. Thank you. All the grace. That's what we need. See, just all the grace, all the grace. Okay, well, let's move into this this piece that we want to introduce to y'all. And just so you know, now I don't brag that much, but I'm gonna brag because the photo that you're looking at, those are some of my dried okra pods and okra seeds. And I tell you, I'm just so tickled about her. My okra is just all that and a bag of chips. I'm totally biased towards my okra and okra seeds, just believing that they are the best ever. So anyhow, enough of that. We're going to introduce y'all to a new initiative that we're creating, and really thrilled about, and we want to invite you to participate in, and we're calling it the Black Seed Saving Collective, saving our collective seed sovereignty, which is the name of our workshop or our conversation today. But we're also launching this initiative to try to build community around saving seeds, and hopefully you'll be interested and tickled to participate in this. And so, Josie, you feel like you can unmute, or you want me to just keep on going?
I'll try. I realize we never fixed this, but it's fine. It's fine. So our initiative for North Carolina, if people
You break it
join
up,
us in
love.
solidarity, that's fine. But our efforts are going to be. Oh, sorry. I said that our efforts are going to be focused strictly on people in North Carolina who are trying to save seeds.
Yeah. And okay, I got it. I hear you. I heard you, and I got it, and I'll take it from here. Yeah, and we just totally, we don't pay no attention to it. We talk about this first, we talk about this second, we talk about this last. Zoom grace and slideshow grace. It's all good. We'll fix it before we send it out. But Josie was just saying that we are, first of all, she and I are both from North Carolina. And we believe we want to start here in North Carolina first with our seed saving collective. It can morph into different things, but we want to start here at home. We think we got enough work right here in North Carolina to do. that ought to keep us busy for a long time. So if it goes somewhere else and things morph into something different, I think that's totally fine. But we're going to start our seed saving collective here in North Carolina. Somewhere down the line, we think we might actually be cousins. We don't know for sure, but we think we're kin. So that's what's up. So we want to introduce y'all to this seed saving collective and starting a seed sharing circle, And so what you got on the screen here, and this is going to be in a packet for you, so you don't have to worry about it. We've got you covered. We're going to give you all kinds of things to help you build a seed sharing circle if you want to participate in one. So you don't have to recreate anything, but we wanted to just put this on the screen so you could just see, if you're starting a circle, it could be, folks' names and addresses, email, telephone number, and what are they growing? And so, if Josie's doing, some kind of melon, I don't want to end up doing this. I don't end up want to put on the sheet the same thing that Josie's already contributing to the circle. So, that means I can't grow the same thing, but when we begin to share the seeds, we want a variety. So that's why you want to ask folks, well, what would you contribute to the circle? You may be growing 15 different things in your garden or on your farm. But if everybody's gonna share 2 or 3, then let's list those on the sheet so we can all see what's going on and what we can expect at the end of the season. And so we really wanted to think about some community agreements. And some of y'all might be scratching your head saying, well, LaShauna, your collective says Black Seed Saving Collective. Well, let's unpack it. Let's unpack it a little bit, y'all. What we want to do, we really want to empower Black farmers and gardeners. We want to center the voices and experiences of Black people. Why? Josie and I are Black people, and we know that historically, Black folks have been left out of conversations around food, farming, gardening, and at some points in our history, it's actually been very dangerous for Black folk to even be outside, right? So we know that, and what we want to do is center Black folks in our collective. Now, at no point would we say that folks of other races and ethnicities, should be eliminated or omitted from the collective, but we want to make sure that some Black folks are participating too. So each circle should have at least 3 Black people situated in the circle. That's what we're asking. We believe in multiracial coalition building. We've got friends of all races and ethnicities, and we want to center the experiences of Black folks. And so we want to have at least 3 Black people in each circle. White folks and folks of other races and ethnicities are very, very happy. We're very happy for folks to start a circle. Just include some Black folks. That's all we ask. Start the circle, ask folks to participate, get those names. And you don't need to run it by us. This is, these agreements are really for folks to just kind of, think about and get situated in your own way. It's not asking permission from LaShauna and Josie. It's learning how to be in multiracial community together, right? And so, of course, people of color are free to participate. And we really believe in the quote by Leela Watson that says, if you come here to help me, you're wasting your time. If you come because our liberation is bound, that your liberation is bound up with mine, let's work together. And so we believe that our liberation is bound together. And so we want this to be something that's open to everyone and centering the voices and experiences of Black folks. And so hopefully that makes some sense. And we'll take questions and things here in a moment. And then also we've gone ahead, because I'm going to stop sharing so Josie can start talking again. We went ahead and created a Google group for the Black Seed Saving Collective. We want y'all to join. We'll give you a way. We'll let you know how you can join. We want you to start building a circle. We want at the end of, spring growing season that folks are harvesting seeds and sharing those within their circles, and creating community. Hopefully we'll be post-COVID by then, and you can share your seeds over a meal, have a good, meaningful conversation and a drink, and share seeds together. And so this is our way of really inviting y'all into community with us, inviting y'all to participate in a seed saving circle through the Black Seed Saving Collective. And doing this thing. So let me shut up. Let me shut up and see if Josie can talk, and then we'll answer any questions that y'all might have as well.
Okay, so first, let me just say that the came from conversations that LaShauna and I have had over the past or so about North Carolina, about agriculture in North Carolina, and the idea for the sharing circles actually came from a that I just happened on the internet and found. So, and the good thing is they let out, like, so if you really don't know, speaking like she said, we're gonna share.
We can't hear you, love.
Walk you through the entire process. You can't.
No, it's worse. No, it's okay. Makes me sad, but we can't hear you.
For now, why don't you just put, I mean, I hate to say it, but if you could put some of your thoughts in the chat, and LaShauna, if you want to pick up where she left off, maybe we can troubleshoot it and have you just call in, Josie.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I think what Josie was really was talking about is the fact that she and I geek out about seeds all the time and share seeds, and we thought that this could be a really great way for other people to participate and bring something like this to their own community. And it doesn't take a million people. A handful of folks can really pull this off in a beautiful way. It takes a little bit of intention. It takes a little bit of, trying to make sure, who's going to do what, and when we get together to share the seeds, and who's growing what, that kind of thing. We've got a template already ready for you. You drop the names in there, what folks are growing. And so, to really make it simple and easy, but hopefully a way to build community. The Google group is there, for y'all to ask questions, to riff off stuff, or, what's other folks grow, what are other folks growing. Josie and I'll be there to answer any questions and talk about our experiences and what we know. We're not experts, but we're doing it. And we've been doing it for, a little bit, and we've been, really having conversations with each other, and talking about different stuff. So that we just want to make that offering. And I think that's what she was really getting at. So I think maybe what I want to do now is just hear from y'all. What questions do y'all have? Was I clear? What would y'all like to know more about?
And if people are comfortable and aren't, like eating at 4 o'clock, it would be great if we could share video. I know that we tend to turn our videos off, but for this sort of conversation, it is kind of nice, especially for our presenters, to see us. So if you're willing to turn your video on, that would be great. And then we can actually, hang out and talk. Right, LaShauna? Yeah,
no doubt. Hey, y'all. I'm sorry about the internet. Josie's way out in the country. I've got the luxury and privilege of being in town, so to speak. So my internet's a little more stable than hers. But Josie, you just hit us up in the chat, and we'll hear from you there. What questions y'all have? Is this maybe my question is, are you even interested in this? Does this even seem like something you can bring to your community? Do you have a handful of friends that you think could create a circle with you?
I feel bad because I am just getting in. I was out on a walkabout, so I was late to the party. But I'm a longtime seed saver myself, and like I'm sad that I'm late to the party because I think you've been talking about like community seed saving, right? Like this is, and so I am like really invested in the idea of communities saving seed together and then sharing amongst themselves, because I think it's I think that's really the only way that we're going to really be able to have real food sovereignty. So I'm just excited to hear what other people have to say. And I've definitely got feelings, but I don't want to take over everything. So.
Yeah, Angie, you're not late. You're not late. This is a Saturday early evening. Folks could be doing a whole lot of other things, and so you showed up here, which gives us a lot of joy. So you're not late. And we were talking about seed saving circles. And so really being intentional about inviting folks into a circle. Josie and I are launching our sort of initiative together called the Black Seed Saving Collective. And it's for everyone. And we ask that each seed saving circle have at least 3 Black people in the circle as a way of building community, building trust, including and centering voices of people of color. And so don't let Black seed saving hinder folks who are not Black from participating. It's actually a beautiful invitation to meet some Black folks and invite them into your circle. And so we really think that doing this cross racial lines is a really great way to begin to deal with some of our challenges around race in this country. And what better way to do that than growing food together, sharing seeds together. Hopefully a meal will come from some of that growing as well. And we believe that food is a natural connector, just a natural, easy way to connect with folks, be in space with folks, have conversations with folks. And so that's really the only rule, is to build your circle with at least 3 Black folks and do it. So wherever you're at, if you're already in communication with folks around seeds and saving seeds, we'll provide you a packet with documents like, let me just go back and share my screen for you. Angie, no problem. This is a slide I was sharing around. Hang on, let me get there. Like, we've got a little template ready for y'all where you just put your name, email, telephone number, what folks are growing, that kind of thing on there as well. So we have we've set up a Google group so we can share things together, and build our bigger community. However, we would imagine your seed saving circle being hyper local, where you can be in proximity to your neighbors and friends sharing seeds. So, yeah, what other questions do y'all have?
Sorry, I forgot I was muted. I was just curious if anyone here is already part of a seed saving group. Like, if you've like, I've only just saved my own seeds and like occasionally mailed some seeds to like farmers that are CFSA members. But has anyone already like kind of started this process outside of like this discussion? Basically, am I the only one who's not already like part of a collective?
No, I've never actually heard of like making a group before. And this was my very first year. It wasn't food, but I just saved dahlia seeds. So again, I know it's not food, but I thought I've never done it before. So I'm even before the step of joining a group, I've never saved seeds before. So no, I haven't. I don't know about anyone else here.
Nice. We got a newbie, Josie. We got a newbie.
Yeah. And we got to see if Josie's audio will work. All right, say something, Josie.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Yay!
Okay, yay, good. Okay.
All right, tell us all the things.
Okay, well, I'm glad that the people who are new, people who have done it before, because that mix of people is necessary. Because if the new people are going to ask the questions that the people who have been doing it probably don't even think to ask anymore, but they also might bring some new ideas that you hadn't thought of. And also just, enthusiasm from anybody is great. Like LaShauna was saying, this is giving you an opportunity to meet some Black people. I'm assuming you already know some. This is your opportunity to, actually become their friend, not just, I know this Black person, like to actually get to know people. And you find out what seeds are important to my friends, what seeds are important to my community, what seeds are important to me personally. Because for me, college seeds are extremely important. Because of, culturally they're important, but also just in when I say in my community, I mean in Jones County, North Carolina, if you don't have college, you're not eating. Like that's the one thing you can everybody eats college. People who come here, if they hadn't eaten before, they do now. And I've even, had people who are new to Jones County, who came from, Lord knows where, and we're like, so we're trying to, what were they doing? Like some nutrition classes. We gave them kale and they ate it like no problem. I'm like, yeah, because kale has such a bad reputation, but for us, kale, college, kind of the same thing. So people were just kind of like, okay, whatever. And her mind was just blown. Like how is this the one thing that everybody's cool with? And, it's because college is so important to us that, when you have kale, it's not that much different, collard, kale, mustard greens, turnip greens, any kind of thing like that, we'll eat it. And that's something we grow up doing. And that's, and there are certain types of collards that we eat. There are certain types of turnips that we eat. So, that's also important. But until I became a part of your circle, you wouldn't know that. And I wouldn't know that, this type of pepper is important to me, or this kind of onion is important to me, or this, and then I would start growing the onions that you're connected to, because I don't care. They're new to me, so I'll grow whatever. But if you have a story and I'm invested in you and I'm invested in your story, then I'm gonna be as enthusiastic about it as you are, because why wouldn't I be? You're my connection to that vegetable, to that plant, to that whatever. Like with the hibiscus, like I said before, I'd heard of it. I didn't know what it tasted like. I didn't know it. And the one time I'd had it before, I didn't even like it. And now I can't wait to get everybody to grow their own, because it's so easy. And the price that you pay in the store, grow your own. Like I promise you, it's because I've been through the whole process. We grew some, we harvested it, dried the calyxes, or the flowers as they're called, even though that's technically not what they are. You grow those. They're $8 an ounce.
Mm.
And if you actually go through the process of harvesting them and process, it's worth more than $8. Because by the end of it, you end up with the stuff that is basically as heavy as a cotton ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so so the time and effort that goes into it, that becomes something that you value, because you're going to do it to be able to save these seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And as LaShauna was saying about abundance, to be able to, I could share some with all of y'all and never even touch most of what I have, because nature is so abundant and there's so many seeds in one pod. But, when you buy them from the store, it's like you're buying a whole tree, when all you're getting is a hand, but we could share them amongst ourselves. We could come up with recipes. We could find out what recipes actually go with them. There's so much that could come from just us sharing seeds with each other and being in community with each other, to where, we create our own culture around the seeds that we share.
Exactly. Yeah, again, still showing off sweet loofah queen over here. Look, I had no reason to grow loofah. I wasn't interested. I wasn't mad at loofah. I just wasn't gonna grow loofah, right? But my friend said, LaShauna, you have gotta grow loose. I was like, girl, whatever you say, I'm gonna do it. Right. And so the only reason I did it was because I was in community, and my friend said, do this. And I trust my friend, love my friend, all the things. So I did it. Right. Otherwise, never would have Queen Lufa over here doing all her beautiful, brilliant things on my mantle, and being such a conversation piece for conversations like this around seeds. Right. And so it's more than, I agree with Josie, it's more than just saving seeds, giving seeds away in community. It's building community. It's building trust. It's building trust around us being able to get situated and proximate to the land, getting our hands in the dirt, beginning, and I'm just a firm believer that the more we're in the dirt, the more we're healing. So then I'm going to imagine some healing taking place. We can come to conversations, multiracial conversations, more healed and centered and grounded. We're taking back up what our relatives, our First Peoples, Native American folks have taught us around healing and being situated and centered around the land. So it's so much more than just waiting on seeds to come, harvesting seeds and putting them in packages and giving them away. It's so much more than that. It's so much deeper than that. And I really believe that this is like, I believe that these kinds of circles can be like really, really important when it comes to racial reconciliation and healing, to food justice, food sovereignty. And so, start where we ought to start, with seeds. Plant the seed, grow the food, grow the plant. I mean, it's not, it can totally be would you say you grew some dahlias? Totally save the seeds, share the seeds, and then begin to go even deeper. And I think a lot of our ills of this world, or this country, I mean, of course it could be of the world too, but there's enough crap right here in this country. I think a lot of it comes from how folks have been treated on the land, and then just generation after generation not being able to heal from that properly. And so this could be a real good start to that healing and into that reconciliation. So you were asking about the Google group. Look, Josie, I tried to copy the link, oh, but you older than me. I'm the one that's supposed to be doing the stuff, right? Tell me if I dropped the right thing in the chat. Don't do anything with it yet, y'all. That's what it did when I copied it. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, so they can grab that whole thing out of the chat and email us, right?
Okay, so you don't have to grab all of it, because it's just a repeat. Like, just the first part and the second part are the same. But so
okay.
So send an email to that. Send an email. It can be blank. It doesn't have to be, but just send an email to that, and it'll send it to us and say, so-and-so wants to join your group. Or you can go to Google Groups and just try to sign up from there. You can do that too. But if you don't have a Google account, then you can send an email to that.
What should we put in
that address?
Josie?
Nothing. What you should put.
You don't have to. You don't have to put anything if you don't want to.
I want to join.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to.
It's not necessary, but I mean, if you want to, tell me who you are, that's fine. But we'll work out who's who later. If you have this, say what now?
I said my email address should tell you who I am.
But I mean, I'm assuming if you have the link, then you want to be there. That's what I'm assuming. So say what you want. And like we said, share it with, in the document that we wanted to share, it's attached to the page on the app, the conference app, but we can also share it out later.
Oh yeah,
too, if people
really
miss,
quick, let me just make a plug for that so that people know what you're talking about. So if you guys go to, I'm not sure what the document is that you're mentioning, but in order to find the document, All you need to do is go to the agenda to this session. And if you scroll to the bottom, there's a PDF. That's the document Josie's talking about. What is that document again? Sorry.
I might be able to share it.
Yeah, it's the Black Seed Saving Collective seed sharing packet. It has a link. It has the link to the Google group, and it has all the how to set up a seed sharing circle.
Great.
Basic ways how to save seeds, how to dry the seeds so that they last longer, and how to make seed envelopes.
Oh, cool.
I told y'all we were trying to hook you up so it's not overwhelming, that you can just look at that packet that we put together, sign up for that Google group, which you probably already did, look at the packet, grab your folks, a few folks to start your circle. And then, we even tell you how to make an envelope to put your stuff in.
It's on the last page. It's really cool.
Yeah. So we just wanted to try to keep it simple. Again, we're both super busy doing our things, but this is a part of who we are, and we want to invite others into this. It's just a really great way to build community. So we got all those different veggies, and it tells you like how you can harvest them and save them, and then again the sign up sheet, and then you go all the way down, gives you some more information so you can read on that if you've never saved seeds before. Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. Just gotta trust us. We can do this, y'all. And then at the very end, the little envelope making situation.
Hey, Robert.
Hello.
Looks like we have a newcomer. Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey there. How's it going?
Great.
Good to see you. We're talking about saving seeds. Have you ever saved any seeds before?
No.
Oh, well, we hope you'll consider, learning how to save some. If you're growing anything, we can help you save some seeds, and maybe even start a circle of other folks in your community who might want to save seeds, and swap those out, share those with each other. And thanks for being here.
Yes. I would like to learn how to save seeds, because I'm a farmer and I grow a lot of different vegetables, but as of yet, I have not saved any seeds.
Where are you located?
I'm in Eastern North Carolina, Snow Hill.
Oh, Snow Hill.
Eastern, right. In Eastern North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, one thing when we were talking about the seed sharing circles being local in the more rural areas, and just depending on how well people are willing to expand your reach, it can be county to county. It can it doesn't have to be people who live like in your neighborhood or in your town, as long as you're not necessarily sharing seeds with people across like people in the mountains aren't sharing seeds with people at the beach. Not that that's bad, but seeds that were saved in the mountains aren't suited for the people at the beach, and vice versa. I'm hoping that eventually we'll have some people are just sharing seeds left and right, and that we'll be able to say, hey, does anybody have any XYZ? And somebody can say, yes, our circle has it, or I have it. And then, that means another circle can start growing this in whatever part of the state that they're in. What we really want to do is to keep us all supplied with seeds, but also to keep the varieties that are important to us. Because relying on the seed company, when they say this isn't selling well, we're not selling anymore. If you don't have it saved, what are you gonna do?
Right.
I'm really hoping that somebody has got some stash somewhere that they just haven't brought out yet, that we can rediscover some things that we don't know about. But also the best way to keep a variety going is to grow the seeds. So, yes, we want to save some, but we need to grow them as well. Like, don't just hold on to them. Share them and grow them out. One of the things I mentioned in the chat, I don't know if y'all saw it, but one of the things about seed sharing circles, when you decide, like, I'm going to grow this vegetable or this fruit or whatever, try to only grow that one variety, so that you don't have to worry about things crossing too much, or unless you're really diligent and you want to isolate your plants and you have in little bags and all that kind of stuff, which is not hard, but it's just extra work that you wouldn't necessarily have to put in. And the good thing about these smaller seed sharing circles is whatever you grow, you're going to eat most of it. You're not growing this just for seed. So, because there are farms that, they grow stuff only for seed. So all the food that's produced, what happens to it? In this case, we're the way the circles are set up, that you grow enough, for you to eat and for you to share. You're not just growing the sharing part, because there's no reason for you not to be able to eat just so you can, share some pea seeds with me. That's silly.
Right. Yes, this is a practical seed saving situation. We want to eat our food and save a few seeds and share them with community. Josie, can you talk a little bit about seed exploration? I know that you and I talked a little bit about this, but I remember when I first started buying seeds, my seed packets would have like best by dates on them or expires by whatever. And so now I've got my own theory around this stuff, because people try to make money and oftentimes do bad things to people. But I want to hear you talk about, if I harvested seeds in, I don't know, the end of 2019, what can I do with those seeds now in 2021, almost 2022?
Okay, well, we're assuming that you saved them under the optimum conditions and you did everything you're supposed to do. Unless they are something from the onion family, they're going to last for a minimum of 2 years or 2 or 3 years. Onions, they just last for, that doesn't mean that if you have some that you can't grow, you can't still plant them. Just the likelihood that they'll all be good is lower. So if you saved some seeds in 2019 and you haven't, they haven't been wet, they haven't been in anywhere that was too humid, they weren't exposed to too much sunlight, you can still grow them out, you can still share them. If you want to test them, you can do a germination test. If you do y'all want me to explain what a germination test is?
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so a germination test. You take 10 seeds and you line them up in kind of a box. I mean, it's kind of hard to do with 10, but that's what you do. You put them in kind of just so they're far enough apart that you can that you can count them out. You get a wet paper towel, you wet it, you wring it out, but don't get it all the way wrung out because you do want it to be a little bit moist. You put the paper towel, you line up your seeds so you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you put them in some kind of container. It's just faster that way. And then after the day or two, they'll start to sprout. And if you try this with onion seeds, your house will start to smell like onions, so you know that they work. Like that's how. If you ever wonder, it's like, are these onion seeds? Are these from the onion family? If they start germinate, it will smell like onions. Like it'll smell like a whole full-on like cut up onion, even though it's a black seed about big as a pinpoint. So you count, make sure you know this is number one, and you let them germinate. So the root comes out, You can wait till they get their cotyledons, so their like first leaves, and then count how many of them actually sprouted. So let's say 4 of them sprouted. You have a 40% germination rate. So that means about 40% of the seeds that you have are still good. That's not 100% true because you won't know until you actually grow them all out, and germination is dependent on, you know, enough things that even if they're good, they might not come up. But if they're 40%, I wouldn't share them necessarily unless that's all you have. But I would definitely grow them out so I can get some for next year. I would definitely go ahead and, like, if you're like, oh shit, just go ahead and do it. And most things, not all, there are very few things that can't be transplanted, even though people tell you certain stuff can't be transplanted. The only things that can't be transplanted are radishes and carrots. Pretty much everything else they don't like it, but they can be transplanted and they'll live. So if if your stuff does sprout and you're like, oh, I know these are good, don't throw them away. Try to remove them from the paper towel. If it's stuck, just cut it out, because you don't want to rip it off. Cut it off the paper towel, plant it, and let it keep going, and then you're good to go. Yeah, if you're ever concerned about your seeds, just try to sprout them, and hopefully do it in the right season so that if they do work, you can. But yeah, just don't ever feel like, oh, these might be too old. They probably aren't, unless like I said, unless they were damp or exposed to too much sunlight, they're probably fine. I had, when the first seeds that I saved, which you may not have understood me the first time because I probably broke up too much. I saved the first set of seeds in 2009. Last year, no, not even last year. In like this spring, I planted some of those from 2009 and they came up. So don't worry about it. If you've got seeds and you think they're, try it anyway. Stuff is in the chat box, but I haven't been.
Yeah, no, folks are talking about what you're talking about, the germination test. I find germination tests to be very helpful. I've got some old seeds that are still very useful, but again, I've seen expirations on packets and used by blah blah blah, and I still use mine.
I can tell you why those are there if you want to know.
Yeah, Angie, why are they there?
So I used to work at So True Seed. I was there for 8 years.
Really?
Yeah. So seeds, vegetable and flower seeds, like anything that is sold via a company like So True Seed, are classified as produce. And so because they're classified as produce, the FDA regulates and they have to have an expiration date, even if it's completely meaningless. So the expiration date is really just a crappy government regulation, but it does help in a way, because what it tells you as a consumer is when that company last did a germination test on them. So like a germination tests have to happen if you're selling seed to consumers at least once a year. And so if you're looking at a pack of lettuce seed or something and it has a date of April of 2022, you can roughly assume that the last time they did a germination test on those was April of 2021. And they all have to pass with certain percentages based on the government regulations. So yeah, that's
Well, I tell you what, we won't be getting into government regulations right now. We just want y'all to be in community. Okay, let's keep it simple. But I do get the rationale behind it. That makes sense. And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I can get caught up in the whole government thing, but like the government regulating it like it's food, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. And I think germination tests are really important, and we should know like what percentage of the seeds are actually working. I just don't know if I like the government regulation like it's food. But no, hey,
Yeah.
school, I needed that lesson. That was some good education.
Yeah, but Josie's totally right. I mean, there's different like sort of years that you can get out of different types of seed. And then, the onion and parsley is another one that have notoriously short germination rates, usually a year or two. And then it really starts to decline. But I've had tomato seeds last for a decade with fantastic germination rates. So it all just keep them cool, dry, and dark, and they'll last a really long time.
Yeah, cool, dry, and dark, and use them so we don't end up having so many to, wonder, are they going to work? Are they good or not? Either plant them and grow them, or get them in the rotation with your seed saving circle and share them with community so other folks can grow them. So we can keep that cycle going and have, the best seeds, the ones that we harvested just last season. And so we can keep it going. So that's good stuff. What else, Josie?
I'm actually speechless. I had all this stuff like, oh, we can talk about this, we can talk about, and now I'm like, I don't. Yeah, because we talked about most of the things that we wanted to talk about. But I guess my question to the group is, so if you started a circle, like what is something that you would definitely what vegetable would definitely be on your list? Like, what's the thing that you have a connection to, or what's the thing that you're really good at growing that you're like, yeah, I can definitely share these with somebody else?
I'm still such a newbie. I feel like there's like nothing I feel confident about. Maybe to
Come on, Rachel. What do you like to eat? What do you like to eat?
Well, we grow, we have a farm, and so we do grow tomatoes to sell, but we definitely grow a bunch of varieties. So I don't know how that would work out with the your recommendation to only grow one type at a time. And then we grow strawberries, but I imagine most people probably don't save those seeds, do they?
It'd be great seeds to save. You might want to eat it, but
yeah,
you could save some strawberry seeds. Yeah. They're super tiny.
Yeah, I mean, and you could save the seeds, or I mean, if you really wanted to, you could save the plugs and share those out, because strawberries, you definitely get enough to share, I think. As far as the tomatoes go, once because tomatoes are self-pollinating, even though they can cross. Like, and I hope I'm not saying this wrong, but once the flower is pollinated, no, I'm wrong. You would put the bag over, because they're self-pollinated, you would put the bag over it when the flower opens, put it on there, and then so that nothing can cross with it. And then you just leave it there until the tomato forms. Okay. And then like mark it so that this one is the one that I bagged.
Okay.
And because that way, because once the tomato comes, like, you're done. Like, you don't have to worry about it because it's already been pollinated. But because that's the easiest thing to do if you don't want to have to like get rid of the rest of your tomatoes, which doesn't make any sense. So you would probably bag like 4 or 5 of them.
Okay.
Just for the genetic diversity, and the only bad thing is you don't know, like, is this going to be the best tasting one of the bunch? Is this going to be the biggest one? But you're growing them so they taste good and you like them, so it can't be bad.
Right.
So you would just save like 4 or 5 of them, and with all those seeds, unless they're the ones that only have like 2 or a handful per tomato, you'll have enough to share with your circle, no problem.
Yeah. And I know you asked a question, so I'm answering a question with a question, but I'm curious, do you find the circles you all have either been part of or have seen others start, is it mostly like home gardeners? Are there like farmer producers who are selling as well? Is it a mix?
It's a mix.
Honestly,
It's a mix, but mostly most of the folks that I've been in community with are gardeners.
Okay.
But I'm cultivating a farm, and even though what I grow right now in my backyard, my mini farm, that's where I've been saving seeds. I'm hoping to, like, I would totally be doing this when I get to the farm as well.
Okay.
And yeah, but most of the folks that I've dealt with in the Saxbaha area are gardeners. And so I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's, folks have more time, or I don't know. I mean, again, in my opening comments, seed saving will teach you a lesson in waiting.
Mm-hmm.
It is not, it's not for folks who are trying to rush and pull everything out, but like you just got to wait for it. You got to wait for the seeds. And I found out and Josie had told me, but she was like, you're gonna have to wait on them collard seeds. I was like, oh, I got this. Oh, it was so long before my collard seeds were ready. But then once they were ready, I had thousands of collard seeds from a small little patch. I mean, there was just so many seeds. It was really incredible. Arugula seeds are the same way. It's like, gosh, you get so many of them. And so now, I think, the bulk of what I've saved this past season is the okra, and it's so easy. It's like, why would anybody ever buy a okra seed? Like, one pod and you got most seeds and you know what to do with. It's just really incredible. And so again, I mean, you'll be eating most of the food. You don't need to really do it, especially for okra. You don't need to do anything special. Just let it grow. It's gonna grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. It gets big, cut it down, dry it out, crack it open, seeds are there, right? And so those are the easy ones. It's stuff like collard greens and kale and cabbage and those types of things that you got to wait on it to do all its thing, and then you can get some seeds. So my favorite would probably be creasy greens, along with okra, of course. But creasy greens this is something I grew up on, and I never can find at farmers markets. Typically, farmers markets are often white spaces, and I've gone to so many local farmers markets, and I'm like, hey, y'all have creases? What's creases? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I grew up on them. They're so good. And so I found some really good seeds that I've been cultivating in my garden for a few years, and I've been saving as well. So that would be something I would do. There was a hand up. Go ahead and have your question. I couldn't tell.
So I have a question. One thing with the greens that you mentioned, a lot of those are biennials, so you don't see the seeds until the following year.
That's
so
right.
that's it. But it's kind of nice because you can leave them for the pollinators, so that's nice, and then collect your seeds. But my question is that, like, for example, with gardening, with the pandemic, a lot of people picked up gardening and struggled with it because they were inexperienced, but they were getting their hands in the dirt and they were trying. I think the same thing with seeds is something that could occur, but at least with gardening, there are more how-to videos and education behind it. With seed saving, it's not as prevalent. And that's something like, for example, with tomato seeds, they've got that film on it. There's, there are special things that you can do to harvest those seeds. And same with like elderberry, for example, or asparagus, so there's special techniques. Have you all thought anything about, as far as educating people on, like I did see in your PDF, you did run down and provide, like, for a lot of more common crops, different ways to harvest the seeds. But have you thought about any kind of video type element to help people learn how to save seeds so they have success and don't get frustrated and say, this isn't for me?
Beautiful question for Josie.
So actually, yes, I had thought about it. And like you said, most of the common vegetables are in the PDF. There are also the video from the workshop that LaShauna went to is available on YouTube. So, I mean, that's another one that, I mean, it's just me talking, but still, like, that's another a thing that I can share with y'all, so you can go watch it and be like, oh, okay, that's how I do this, that's how I do that. I did want to eventually do one. It's like, okay, you have this kind of seed, let's go through the process of saving it. Or you ask, hey, how do I do this? And then we can get together on a Zoom or a Google Meet or whatever and just be like, hey, we're going to do this, go down the because, you know, I don't know where you are right now. I don't even know if you're in North Carolina, but, you know, we can still do it, you know, over some kind of video conference so that you can ask me questions while I'm doing it. Or somebody else in the group is like, oh, I know how to do this. Or you can ask them questions while you know, and if there's somebody else in the group who knows how to do it and I don't, or LaShauna doesn't, we can set something up so that, you know, we can make it available to people, and not necessarily record it, but just that people can come and like, hey, I want to know, how do I do this? How do I do that? I do have some pictures that we took for saving tomato seeds, but there's plenty of stuff online about how to save tomato seeds. You can just type in how to save tomato seeds. And just my one thing I want to say, and you can argue against it if you want, if that's fine, but this is just my personal opinion. If you do not ferment your tomato seeds, you're wasting your time. I've been told that you don't have to do it. I believe you do, honestly. But if somebody has a good reason not to, I would love to hear it. So if you see a video that says that you, or some kind of document that says you don't have to do it, I would say keep looking.
I never knew you.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's interesting.
I think it ensures greater success if you do it. Like, you can still have success without doing it, but you're more likely to be successful more often if you do it.
The interesting thing about tomatoes, like, I agree with the fermenting. I think that needs to happen if you're saving it personally. The interesting thing is that they do also, nature, everything self-seeds, you know, so a tomato will drop and you'll have your random volunteer tomato plants, you know, but that's nature doing its thing. But when we're saving it for ourselves, that's a bit different. And the fermenting does seem to be more successful. But as to you answering the question, I think that's beautiful that there is that opportunity where if someone doesn't have the know-how, because there are several videos out there, and like, for example, for the tomato, someone would say, you don't need to ferment, you just do this, you know, so people can go to a YouTube video and get incorrect information, because everybody nowadays is an expert because they want to be on a video. So, but what you mentioned is that you all, like, if anyone in the circle asks a question, that you're willing to show them or to have a Zoom, because that's, again, part of community building. So I thought that was a wonderful response.
Oh, thank you. Because I feel like knowledge should be shared, and that nobody should hold on to something just because they don't want. I don't understand why people don't want other people to know things. Like, if I know something that you need to know or you want to know, I'm going to tell you. You know, within reason, obviously, but you know, for the most part, like, I feel like all knowledge is up for grabs, and the more we can share with each other, the better informed we are, and then you can decide because once you know, then you can decide for yourself, because otherwise you're just flying by the seat of your pants and whatever happens. And some people like that kind of free for all. I'm not one of those people. I like to know what's what, and then I can pick and choose what I want to do versus, oh, you know, I don't know how to save okra seeds. Well, let's just try this, see what happens. No, I would rather, LaShauna have said, just leave the plant, let it dry out, it'll be fine. Then I would have I'd be, okay, whew, I didn't do anything wrong. It's going to be fine. Other times, you know, people have asked me, like, oh, my plant is doing this. Like, is it going to die? I'm like, no, it's supposed to do that. It's supposed to look like that. Like, it's okay. It's like, but it doesn't look like the picture. It's like, well, I don't know who took the picture, but this is part of the life cycle. This is something that you learn if you wait until, you know, if you wait, you get to see, you know, you get to see it from the beginning to the end. And then you know what to look for. It's like, oh, wait, it's got this little yellow flower on it. That means it's going to seed. because I think somebody had lettuce and they were like, why does it look like that? I'm like, because it's putting up, like, why does it have this big stalk and it's not supposed to, you know, have that stalk? Like, well, because it's hot, the lettuce is saying, I'm done. I'm making seeds now.
Yep.
Like, I'm out. And they're like,
Yep.
oh, like, yeah, so just leave it. Like, if you liked that lettuce, save the seeds. If you didn't like that lettuce, let the birds eat it.
Yep. Gotta wait for it. Teach us some lessons. I mean, there's so many lessons to be learned through seed saving, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, if you just let it teach us and let the seed saving journey teach us lessons and slow us down, because we're such a rapid response type of people, microwave generation, wanting all the things right now. We want to be done with the plant and get the seeds all in the same week. No, the plant is saying, nope, you're gonna wait, and I'm gonna go through this cycle, and then once that beautiful process takes place, then you'll have those seeds. And so it really is a journey. And if you've never saved seeds before like that, you'll if you embrace it, I think it will teach some lesson in slowing down, appreciate the journey. Eventually you will see those seeds and you will have more than you know what to do with. And let me just keep it real. There have been times when I'm like, I can't wait for you seeds. I need the space in my garden beds, and I'm just like ripping stuff out and moving on. I mean, let's keep that real. You're not going to save seeds for everything. There's going to be times when you just don't have the capacity to do that. So start small. When I went to Josie's class, I can't remember what I saved. Was it the collards? I can't remember what it was now, but I remember going to the class. Anyhow, I just did one thing. It was just one veggie plant. I just left the one, right? And I was like, oh, this is taking a long time. I don't have that kind of patience. This ain't gonna work. And I left it and I just let it do its thing. And eventually I was like, yes, this is great. And then of course with okra, that's a no-brainer. Okra is a no-brainer. I can help you all things okra. Hit me up, because it's just so easy to do. And you know, and I even tell my son, he doesn't like okra. I'm like, it's fine. You don't even have to like okra. Grow it and just let it grow. And then eventually they're gonna dry up and those pods are gonna have seeds in them, and you can get those and then give them to your mama. So he doesn't even like okra, but he grows it for the seeds, and it's a beautiful plant. OMG, you get to see all the okra flowers, and it's just so brilliant and beautiful. And so yeah, even if you don't want to eat it, grow it for the beauty and the seeds.
Right. And you can also, you also learn that some things you can eat more than just what we're used to, like the okra. You can eat the leaves, you can eat the flowers. So
Yep.
That's something you probably wouldn't know if you just grew it normally. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like all those big leaves, cook them up. They taste great. The hibiscus, found out you can eat those. They taste like lemon zest. It's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So any other questions or comments or Katie?
Go ahead, Katie.
So are you guys exclusively doing like fruits and vegetables, or are you guys also incorporating flowers? Because I have quite a few flower seeds this year. Those are like the main seeds I've been saving this year, just because they're easier, and I just have so many of them. Like I have a whole vase of celosia next to me, and my floor is covered in my office with seeds, because they just fall. Like if I just bump the table, like the seeds come flying out of the flowers. It's great. It makes it a lot easier. But I just didn't know if that, I think it's super valuable to grow flowers, obviously, because of pollinators, but I wasn't sure if that was part of this collective, or if you were just focusing on edible plants.
It's up to your circle. If flowers are what you're good at, then that's what you should contribute. If that's something that you and
I'm not saying I'm not gonna collect seeds from fruits and vegetables. I'm just saying right now, like I have a surplus of flower seeds. That's all.
Well,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, like, if that's what you're good at and that's what you enjoy doing, do that, and let the people who enjoy doing the other stuff do that. That way, nobody's putting themselves out to share seeds. Like, we don't want that either. Like, we don't want it to be a job. Like, we want you to grow the stuff that you like, because you're going to put more care and effort into it. And the stuff that you're good at, grow that, because why not? Like, why make your life hard unless you just want to? But also, like, it's up to your group. It's up to you. And flowers are good for pollinators, but they're also, people just like to look at them. They like flowers. They make them feel. So I mean, yeah, eating is great, but if the flowers make you happy,
okay, but just
we need flowers.
I just want to be clear. I'm not saying I'm not going to save other seeds or that I don't want to, or that
right.
Just this year just turned out with the craziness of like the conference that I helped plan with you, these other lovely folks. It was like, okay, what's super easy? I got all these flowers. I'm just gonna let them chill here till the freeze comes.
Yeah, and I think yes, just like we hadn't even talked about that, but yes, absolutely, flower seeds. And then also don't forget, some of them flowers are edible. You better sprinkle some of that, calendula on your salad and keep it moving. I mean, you can. Some of them are edible, and the ones that aren't edible, they're still gorgeous. They're pollinators. You can make bouquets out of the flowers, and out of some flowers, and then save some seeds. So yes, all the things.
Awesome.
And also, sunflowers are so easy to save seeds out of, and you get a massive amount of them. So if you grow sunflowers, you can always get those seeds as well. Let me shut up, because aren't we done at 5?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention. It's like we have a minute left. The time just flew by. So if anybody has any remarks, or I just want to say thank you to you guys. This was great. I feel like we learned a lot. I'm excited to join the group, and that PDF was super helpful. So again, everybody, if you just go to the agenda for this session, you will find that PDF at the very bottom if you just scroll down in the agenda on this session.
Yeah, LaShauna and Josie,
and one thing. Okay. Sorry.
I just want to say thank you for your time, and thank you for organizing, this kind of movement, because I feel like it's just so needed in today's day and age. We need to do more sharing, and less consuming, more sharing.
Agreed.
Yeah, thanks y'all. We appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with us on a Saturday evening. You could be doing so much more, and you came here, so we appreciate it. Don't forget to get you a handful of folks together, form your circle, join the Google group, ask us questions, share photos, stories, all the things. I'm just really grateful that you chose to be with us this evening. Appreciate you.
Well, we're grateful for you guys too. Thank you so much.
Is it too? Can I say one last thing before we go?
Yeah.
Okay, because of the time of year it is, and nobody's really starting anything right now, other than putting probably trees in the ground. One of the first things we're going to talk about, or at least put out there, is what can we share amongst everyone, because maybe you have some, because so that people can start in the spring if they don't have seeds already. Like, if you want to buy some stuff, that's up to you. But if you want to share some things now, so that when spring comes, people can get started. So just put the word out, like, hey, do you have any seeds you want to share? Or say, I have such and such seeds, who wants some? And then we can figure out how to
Do we do that in the Google group?
Yeah, that's one of the things that I want to talk about. Like, one of the first things we talk, like, who has seeds right now that they want to share for people to get started.
Me. I got seeds. I share.
So yeah,
we'll put it out there for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I have one more thing I want to ask.
Okay.
So in the age of COVID, where we're not like all really getting together and hanging out and stuff anymore, how would we get sort of a chapter started in our area? Because I'm in the mountains, and so should I put an ad in the newspaper and on Craigslist and stuff, and like just see who wants to talk about it. And
that's something you could do, but where are you in the mountains?
I'm just outside of Asheville.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know some people in Nashville who would probably be interested. So, just say, hey, I'm in this place. I'm trying to start a circle. Do you know anybody around here who might be interested? And then, we could connect you with somebody who could either get in your circle or connect you to people who, would want to join your circle. Because there's no need for anybody to be just floundering. Like, hopefully, like everybody knows somebody. So there's got to be a way we can make some connections if you can't do it yourself.
Yeah, I got some friends in Asheville too, so I can try to hook you up with some folks.
And then if you're on Facebook,
Yeah.
sometimes just mentioning it on Facebook or your social media, but like I started a plant swap group on Facebook and it's local. And so that we do seed swaps, plant swaps and everything, but that was super helpful in getting it started.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds nice.
And there's also the the North Carolina Community Garden Partners, they might be able to help too.
Sure.
I can ask them.
Does everybody get that? North Carolina Community Gardening Partner? Is that right?
Right. Yeah, North Carolina Community Garden Partners. Yeah.
All right, well,
they're on Facebook and we have a website.
I just wanted to thank you guys one more time. I know that we went over, but it was well worth it. And I'm glad we got the phone situation going. That was super. It made all the difference.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your evening. Thanks again for sharing your time with us. We really appreciate you. And everybody else have a great rest of your conference. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks
y'all for coming.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, Robert.